Yo, what's good, fam? It's your man Greg, aka G Breezy, making it easy, and I'm not looking at the camera because I'm giving you that documentary look. And we are testing the GVM Great Video Maker motorized carbon fiber slider. I believe that this version is the 1.5D, and what we are testing today is to see how this sounds, how this fares with the Rode Wireless Go 2, which I have on my Sony A7S III. I got my A7S III volume set to 1, my Rode Wireless Go 2 volume set to -9 decibels. So let's get to the freaking point. The freaking point is that I really think there's a lot of good things about this slider, but as far as documentary, you're gonna have to really learn audio in order to really get the best sound out of this, because this slider is much louder than I expected it to be. I'm gonna look at the camera now. It's much louder than I expected it to be. Basically, you're gonna be paying on the back end with time in terms of tweaking this audio so that it's not loud. Now, I don't know if I don't have the most recent version. I bought this kind of on a whim on Black Friday while they were running a sale, and I didn't want to miss it. And I couldn't really research to tell if this was the most recent one. I think it is. I emailed them, didn't get a response. But nonetheless, this is the 1.5D carbon fiber. I think it's about 32, 31 inches, has the 2 batteries on the side. So what I'm gonna do now, we're gonna do 3 different tests, or really 6 tests. This is 100% speed, about 6 feet away. I'm gonna shut up so you can hear how it sounds. Okay, so what I want to say is we are on an 85mm Rokinon lens. I really like this lens a lot. I think for this B-cam documentary look, it gives you a really good focal length. This is a 1.4. I don't have it on 1.4 now, aperture, but it can really give you that nice dynamic look. I think this lens has a lot of character. It's warm. We'll talk about that lens another day. But I'm also on the Manfrotto 055P tripod legs, because whenever you have a slider like this, you want to make sure that you have tripod legs that can support it. Let's switch to 75 speed. So I get on my handy remote here. And by the way, you can use the remote, but you don't have to use the remote. You can set this and automate it. So this is 75% speed. As I was saying, you want some sturdy tripod legs so that it doesn't bow or bend over. I don't think this slider bows too much. I might have saw a little bit on some tests that I did earlier. And by bow, I mean when it gets to the very end, it sort of like starts leaning. Now there's some adjustment hands or arms that you can add to your tripod to put it on either side or both sides of the, not either, but both sides of the tripod to support it even more. But I found that this Manfrotto 055 tripod leg is sufficient. So right now this is 75% speed. I am going to shut up and let you guys see how it sounds when I attempt to correct this sound. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I can really hear those motors going. And that's the reason why I'm doing this test from 6 feet away. We're gonna do another test at about 10, 11 feet away. And we're just gonna see if it makes a difference. I also wanna do a towel test. As a matter of fact, let's do that right now real quick. This is 75% speed with a towel on it. I don't know if it's really gonna make that much of a difference, but I'm just trying to brainstorm and see if there's anything I can do to reduce that motorized hiss that you probably hear. If anyone has any tips on how to make a slider quieter, please let me know, but I can definitely hear this motor doing this thing. But I feel like this 75% speed is gonna be the sweet spot. as far as documentary use is concerned. You can also use this for product showcasing, which I think is wonderful for that because you don't really need your audio on that. If you just want to get a nice cinematic look for some film. So I'm going to shut up for a second. Cool. Now I'm going to drop it down to 50% speed. Let's take the towel off of it for a second. Okay, so this is 50% speed. I'm talking a little bit. We'll see if we can correct it in the meantime. But yeah, I think there's a lot of good that can come from this slider, but I just don't know. Unless I get really good with correcting audio, I don't know if it's going to be usable. Now, what you would do in order to take the sound out of this, from my understanding, is you could listen to it to see exactly on which hertz, which frequency is bringing up, which frequency actually has this high motorized pitch. And once you find that, when you tweak the entire audio file, you can maybe bring that part down a little bit. And that's effectively what I'm going to be doing to attempt to correct this audio. So I'm going to shut up for a little bit. 50% speed, 6 feet away. Let's throw the towel on it real quick. Okay, I'm not sure the towel is making that much of a difference, but I figured I would try. If I find it doesn't make a difference, I'll cut this out and y'all will never know I did that part. All right. Fair enough. Okay, so now let's go to about 10 feet away and see what we get. I'm going to switch it back to 100. All right, so now we're about 10, 11 feet away, 85 millimeter lens. We're going to 100% speed on the GVM Great Video Maker motorized slider. I did not take the time to adjust the little angles, so I'm probably going to chop off the screen. But once again, we're doing this to test the sound. We're doing a lazy test today. This is also on the S Cinetone profile, no color grading or anything like that. So I'm going to shut up on 100% speed, about 10, 11 feet away, no more than 12 feet away. Okay, so this has been 100% speed. Let's drop it down to 75. Now, the reason I'm doing this test from this angle, now I prefer the angle that's like 6 feet away, but I'm trying to see if it makes a difference if I am maybe 10 feet away, because maybe the Rode video mic won't pick up the sound. Now, ideally in a documentary, if you actually had a real budget and you wasn't on a struggle budget, we would have probably a boom mic set up over the talent out of the frame, which arguably might be hotter or louder depending on the mic that you have. So I'm looking into a Rode NTG3. If I get my hands on that, we'll do another test to see. But I heard the Rode NTG3 is a really hot mic, so I'm even more concerned using this slider on that. But I'm going to shut up for a little bit. We're on 75% speed. This is really awkward, by the way. But yeah, if I can get my hands on the Edelkrone or the Rhino I will definitely do a comparison to see if there's a difference in sound. If I could go back and if I knew that this would be this loud, I might have looked more into the Edelkrone if I knew that the Edelkrone was not loud, right? Comment below if there's something I can do to make this quieter. But this has been 75% speed, and we will close out with 50% speed about 10 feet away. 50% speed, about 10, 11 feet away, 85 millimeter lens for that B cam look. I don't have the angles set just right. On this particular slider, there's these knobs that you use to kind of tweak the slider to get the angles that you want. There's also like this compass type thing on the head part that they have set up, which I haven't quite mastered. But the knobs are pretty easy to use. I've heard some people say that they don't like the knobs because you can't quite get it at the perfect straight angle if you're trying to do just a straight shot. I'm still testing it, so maybe I'll come back and comment below if I have that issue as well. But so far, I haven't really had an issue using it. By the way, I don't know if I said the remote is pretty user-friendly as well. Took a few minor, practice to get used to it, but it's a very simple interface, very easy to use. The buttons sometimes can be a little unresponsive. I don't know if that's the Bluetooth or just the way it's set up, but it connects pretty easily with the slider. I haven't had any connection issues. And as I said before, you can set this for manual like I'm doing right now, or you can do it automated, which is where it'll go back and forth and you can tell it how many times you want to do it. So I'm going to close out with the 50%, 10 to 12 feet away, and I'm going to shut up for a little bit. All right. So there you have it, family. In conclusion, I'm going to try to use this slider because I paid for it. But this is really going to make me pay on the back end as far as the time that it might take to be able to tweak to find the frequency and to reduce that motorized hiss, that motor noise as much as I can. I got to get my hands on an Edelkrone or a Rhino. But as for right now, what I would say is if either of them are much quieter than this, and you know you're going to be doing documentaries and you know somebody's going to be mic'd up, I would say maybe go for the upgrade if you really want that slider look on your documentaries. I'm going to see how this does. I'm going to make it work. But if I can't get it to work, maybe I might have to sell it and then upgrade to that either Edelkrone or Rhino, which are supposed to be top of the line. By the way, I should have said in the beginning, this room is pretty untreated. Hardwood floors, an area rug in the middle, sofa over there, some sofa chairs, obviously, and then some walls. So not ideal, but you want something that's not ideal because different documentary settings are going to have different circumstances. So that's all I have in this video, family. Hopefully we learned something today. Make sure you check those playlists, and you all take care and be blessed.